Fox, ABC, and CBS recap some of the highlights from last week. As every week is just it's been just outstanding when it comes to college football. And joining us now is the executive director and CEO of the Fiesta Bowl, Erik Moses, as they are just finishing the last day of the PNC Fiesta Bowl Par 3 Challenge presented by the Chapman Auto Group. It's going underway, and rumor has it Erik is a stick out there. Erik, how many close to the pin and hole ones have you gotten so far?
Well, look, my only contribution, I will say, is that when our chairman, Randy Norton, was hitting a 25-foot putt, I walked up just before he went to stroke it, and it went right in. So I felt like I was a good luck charm on that one.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, I just got something from Scott Lightman, who handles communications for the Bowl, that you got a challenge going on. Tell us what's this challenge that you got on social media. I just got it a minute ago, so I haven't really had a chance to hear what you're saying in the video, but what is the challenge?
Yeah, so my dear friend Rick Baker, who's the president and CEO of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, wanted to do a little Super Bowl wager. So they're betting on the Rangers to win the Super Bowl. We obviously know the D-backs are going to win the Super Bowl, so he placed a little wager via social media, and we have responded. If the D-backs win, as we know they will, the Cotton Bowl folks will wear Fiesta Bowl hats in their office and take video of that, and vice versa.
So Erik,
we're looking forward.
So you would if Minuch and I were under your leadership, and you would want your employees to correct you if you would say something that's kind of incorrect, right? Would you say that it's safe? Because we just wanted you said Super Bowl. I know you're a football guy. You said Super Bowl twice instead of World Series. But we're going to let it slide because you are a football guy. Yeah. Yes, you said Super Bowl.
I got football on the brain, man.
Yeah.
I got football on the brain.
There's that North.
Love it.
There's that North Carolina education coming out.
Oh, there it is.
Look, I got it right in the video. That's all.
Absolutely.
Right
the bat, the Diamondbacks hat. Yeah, you got it. You nailed it. We're having fun, Erik. You know that. So, hey, tell us about. I believe this is the first year you've been kind of at the spearheading, being part of being the executive director of the Par 3.
Yeah, this is my first Par 3 challenge, and it's been great. I mean, I love the short course out here at Mountain Shadows, and the folks here have been so great to us. Everybody's having a good time and having fun out there. The weather has been magnificent. This is the reason why we live in Arizona, right, for days like this. So it's been good. And in fact, I'm happy to announce that we had a gentleman get a hole-in-one on number 3, and he won a 3-night stay in Las Vegas, 2 tickets to the Super Bowl, and $5,000 in cash.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's get into last weekend. It didn't disappoint. Penn State, Ohio State. That was a heck of a game. Was there a particular game from last week that you still kind of think about?
It's interesting, given how strong Michigan has been this year and some of the things that are going on now with them in the headline. I think Ohio State beating Penn State and their strength of schedule may show Ohio State when the rankings come out next week in the top 4. And I don't know, maybe Michigan won't be there. Mm-hmm. And so I thought the Penn State win was really big for Ohio State and making their case about why they should be in the playoff this year.
Yeah, also the Utah USC game. How about that one last week, Erik? You looked at them come down the wire, and a couple of huge stops by this Utah team, who's got another big game with Oregon coming into Salt Lake. So you're starting to see this Utah team step up and prove a lot of the pundits wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have been thinking about Utah as an offensive team, maybe even exclusively, but their defense has stepped up. They play a great brand of football there, and Oregon will certainly be a test for them this week. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm a DC guy, so I love Caleb Williams, and I like what he was able to do to try to bring them back. But I think USC is not going to make the playoff this year, given those 2 losses.
Will the bowl committee have a lot of eyes on the Oklahoma KU game tomorrow? I mean, if KU gets beat, they're playing much, much better. They could be one of those individuals that comes in here and plays in reference to what's going to happen in the bowl games here.
Yeah, they've got to, and if Oklahoma can stay kind of undefeated, I think they make a really strong case for making it into the playoff from the Big 12. But Kansas could play spoiler like those pesky Virginia Cavaliers did to my Tar Heels last week.
Erik Moses joining us here, Executive Director of the Verbo Fiesta Bowl and Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Georgia, Florida, the largest cocktail party there in Jacksonville. I have not been there, Erik. I don't know if you have, but from what I've heard, it's a heck of an atmosphere.
I have not been yet, but it's on the bucket list. I
Yep.
definitely have to get down there to that one. I think, we're going to continue, most fans continue to give Georgia the nod as two-time defending champions. They have not looked as Georgia dominant as we are accustomed to this season. And so now without Bowers playing, this could be a really big test for them. We'll see what happens, and if Florida can play the spoiler, I'm sure that would make them all very happy, all those Gator fans.
Erik, you mentioned the rankings are coming out, and we're seeing lots of bowl predictions. Let's start with the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. What are some projections you're seeing that really you would be in favor of? I mean, you would love to see because maybe those two schools travel well.
Yeah, the most intriguing one I think I've seen lately is Oregon versus Texas. We had a really good experience with TCU last year, and their fans coming in droves. And so I think Texas playing Oregon would be a great matchup, but I also think both of those fan bases would travel. We're seeing a lot of Air Force as a projection in terms of a Group of 5 team, a lot of Oregon. One had LSU versus Penn State, which I think could be good. You guys know Penn State has played in our game a bunch of times, and LSU was no stranger to the Fiesta Bowl either. So still some interesting potential matchups out there. Whichever and whoever the matchup is going to be, we know there's going to be some top flight college football being played in the desert.
In the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which it's Big 10 versus Big 12, always a great matchup. Who have you seen projected at this point? We all know it can change.
Yeah, I think Kansas, there's a lot of interest around that. We think that fan base, being given some of their struggles recently, I think those folks would be very excited about coming to the desert to see their team play. And then on the Big Ten side, I think Illinois and Nebraska have been some of the names that we've seen bandied about in terms of coming here. So could be really good. And like I said, I mean, after these D-backs win the World Series, there's going to be lots of magic left in Chase Field. And so who knows how that will affect the game on December 26th.
Erik, last one, the Friday night showdown presented by the Superstar Car Wash. A big one tonight. Chandler, Perry, Minuch has coached a few guys that have come out of both those schools that have gone on to the National Football League. But this is a big one, Chandler and Perry.
Yeah, we're excited to be able to bring the Friday night showdown presented by Superstar Car Wash out there and really continue to shine a spotlight on high school football here in the Valley and across the state. As you guys know, we feel very strongly about continuing to support interscholastic athletics, with football in particular, and we want to grow this program next year. So these big matchups, these rivalry matchups, are the ones that have bring the most excitement, and we're going to pump it up and make certain people know there's some great high school football being played in the Valley.
And that Brock Purdy was the MVP, Fiesta Bowl MVP against Oregon. Another young man I was training for Oregon, Tyler Shuck, the opposing quarterback, and Brock, the MVP for that 2021 game, where only 3,000 people were invited into that game because that was the COVID year. But that tradition of Brock Purdy and Perry High School as connected to the Fiesta Bowl forever.
Yeah, and the folks at Iowa State are still a little upset that they weren't able to travel for that Fiesta Bowl game, but happy that they won it. So they still show the trophy, but many of them were upset that they weren't able to come in due to COVID. So I told them, well, there's one way to solve that. Come on back.
That's true. Erik, always a lot of fun, man. Have yourself a great weekend. Thanks for the time today.
Thank you, guys. Be well.
Hey, you can follow Erik on Twitter at Fiesta Bowl CEO. You can see the challenge that we were talking about to start the segment. We appreciate the executive director and the CEO of the Fiesta Bowl for joining us today from Wright Toyota. We're at Wright Toyota today. Coming up, we need the fifth caller for our Learner and Rowe over-under contest, where you have a chance to take on the counselor, Kevin Rowe, for a $50 gift card if you could beat him. That's it. That's all next. It's Fox Sports 910.